So a couple of years ago, we built this 16 by 20 building here in the backyard. It's a detached garage from the house, and the house being right there, but well, you just have to trust me because I'm too lazy to move the camera. It's behind you. We converted that attached garage to the house into an extra bedroom for the kids and into a home studio for my wife. You can find her stuff on Etsy and several other places, but if you look up Being Remade, you can see some of our collaborations together. She allows me to come out here and have a bunch of fun if I promise to be productive for her. So, that works. As long as your wife supports you, then, you're going to have fun doing your hobby. And so, what happened after we built this is a buddy of mine had to move out of his house into an apartment. And so his garage full of tools and equipment needed to go somewhere. So we shared space for a while out here. Very cramped, very tight. You can imagine how fun that is to have multiple shops in one location. But recently he moved back into a house and out of the apartment, come and got his stuff, and all of a sudden I have space and room again. And I don't know what to do with myself. So we're going to embark on a couple of shop projects out here that will help me to minimize the clutter, maximize the organization, and make myself a little more productive in the long run. So like any project, you start out with your materials. What I have here are some 3/8" plywood panels from a friend of mine who's an AC guy. These are on the tops of AC units when they come in, so he collects them for me, and it's a pretty decent source of some 3/8 plywood. We're going to start by laminating 2 of them together. Actually, we're going to do 3 of them total, not laminated, but 3 2-panel laminations, because that makes a lot of sense to say out loud. We're going to end up with 3 almost 3/4 inch thick pieces by the time we're done. I'm sure you've figured that out. To our panel glue up's already done here. Matter of fact, I did them a few days ago, just meaning to get started cutting them down. They're not all exactly the same size, so need to trim them up and make them a decent size panel for use, and also to make sure that I did glue up right. There's still a chance this could go catastrophically wrong on me, but if I do like everybody else does, you saw a decent finished product in the beginning, or this is going to be where everybody begins the laughter process. So we'll get set up here and get these panels cut down to some workable dimensions and go from there. Alright, so to kind of give you an idea of what I'm thinking here, my first doodle, which is, I don't doodle very well, but was to have a shelf for the 2 chargers, and then hang the third one off the side because it's like a wall mount type. Have my 3 notches for the drills, and then it dawned on me I didn't have a place to store batteries because I have a couple of extra batteries for them all. So what I'll do is go back and add this little shelf in the middle here, and then I can store my 2 kind of desktop style chargers on the top here, run the cords back down the back side, power strip on the bottom, then the charger hanging off the side over here. Helps to plug it in. Because, electricity and all. So apparently I didn't pay a good amount of attention the other night during my glue up, and apparently I dropped a panel on a grasshopper. So not only am I using a recycled material, it's a green project on top of it all now. Ba-dum bump. So, like a dummy, I got a little excited, I got a little carried away, and forgot to turn the camera back on during a couple of key cuts. Well, not key, but, cuts in general. What I've got so far is 16-inch deep panels. The top end is trimmed. The bottom ends are still rough. I haven't decided ultimately on how long this is going to be. The shelves here is going to be, it's 15 3/4 across. I'm going to try my first attempt at dado, so I gave myself a little length there to work with. 3 drills hanging 5 inches apart seemed like a good idea. And then they are 7.5 inches or so deep. They won't sit all the way across, so there'll be some space in the back for cords. And so that even with my long bits, drivers and things like that, sort of stuff for pocket holes and that sort of thing, the longer bits you use for that, that there'll be room for that driver to sit on the rack with that bit installed. I don't have to take it out every time. So we'll see how this keeps going. So my grandpa's old dado blade set, which was in a box in storage for I don't know how long, took it out and tried to clean up as much of the little surface rust and stuff as I could. So played around with it just a little bit the other day, making some little test cuts and playing, as it's my first go around with it. And I actually have a pretty good idea of what I want to try at here. So we're going to get it set up and find out if I'm guesstimating correctly or not. So here we are with a test cut, a scrap piece, one of the actual shelves. And I don't think that's too shabby of a fit, considering none of this is exactly decently dimensional. I may have to sand a little bit or do something else to help back it up, but it ain't going anywhere. So alright, so I totally chickened out and did not film any of the dado cutting, because it was my first go around, and well, if I had done something colossally stupid and joint disconnectingly bad or something along those lines, I definitely did not want any footage for any of my buddies to find, because that's just not YouTube fame that I'm looking for, to be honest. So alright, so how'd it turn out in the end? Things could have been better. Not every joint is crisp and clean and pretty, and matter of fact, even had part of that break off up there. So we'll see what happens after some glue dry and some square checking. And so while we're not going to call this a huge success, we're going to call it a mild success, because it's squarish, it's on the wall, and well, there you go. The extra lip on the back, just let me attach it directly to the wall studs for now. One day we'll insulate and sheathe the inside of the building here, but you know, for a starter project or a beginner dado project, I think it turned out okay for the most part. It's a shop piece, so it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Alright, so as far as conclusions go, laminating 3/8 iffy plywood is probably not the best way to go. Many of my dados suffered because of this, as best I can tell. Skill could also be a factor, because yeah, but the grooves, the dado grooves themselves, while fairly consistent, the panels that I hammered in there weren't. And I think it's because there's some voids and some knots in various places. And so I fought some of that. So next time, better wood, because that way I can blame it more on the skill, which is probably the bigger problem. But we'll go with that. So Maybe one day it'll get remade, something fancier, better wood. But for now, it's a completed project, if you want to call it that. It's completed to me, and so that's good. As far as next, I'm not sure what my next project is going to be, or component to tackle, but still need to get a few things organized here in the shop, and thanks for watching.